All right, so over the last week or so, I've been getting DMs from you guys asking me to go ahead and show you all of the admin rods as well as the developer rods. And I'm going to be completely honest, man, I didn't really want to make a video on this, mainly because these are completely unobtainable. No one can get their hands on this, and the people that do have them are technically not allowed to use them. Every single one of the rods that I'm going to show you in today's video are only obtainable by the person that either requested them or had them specifically made for that person. And like I mentioned before, majority of the time it is developers or admins that are not really that much active in the game, and they just sort of have it as a cool little art piece on their back when they get into the game. Now, some of the ones that I am going to be showing you, you've probably seen it from other YouTubers and TikTokers. Most of the time, these are handed to them inside of the test server. And even for the select admins that do have access to this, by no means are any of us allowed to use them. I know you guys have seen it probably like 1,000 times during my stream, but I do have the executive rod. Specifically, the reason why I have it is because I used it during a video recording with Bax. Same for the Sfic Rod. And if you notice with both of these, the executive rod, I never even got to use it. I literally just only redeemed it so that way I could show it to him at the start of the video. And the Sfic Rod, I have 4 fishes caught with it because at the end of the video, I use it to show him the entire trick. And by trick, I kind of mean the entire passive ability on it. Anyways, now that we got the whole entire disclaimer out of the way, let's go ahead and start off with one of probably the coolest ones out of all of them, being the Sfic Rod. As you can see, this has 65% lure speed, 150% luck, 0.15 control, 10% resilience with infinite kg, and the description just simply says, holy moly, developer exclusive. Now, obviously, I'm going to be showing you the passives on all of these rods, so I will kind of have one catch for all of them. Aside from this one being the coolest looking one, it also is probably one of the more OP ones. It's basically like the Voyager rod, except like super cracked out. So if we go ahead and cast our line here, we'll do a little bit of shaking. Then eventually you catch your fish. And as soon as you catch it, you'll notice that the giant beam comes out and boom, we instantly caught the entire fish. So it's insane. It's super OP. And at the same time, it looks super sick. Now for the next one that I'll show you guys is the executive rod. This one, the description says game development is truly difficult. And honestly, it's a pretty mid rod. It's not even that good. Just 99% lure speed, 0% luck, 0.4 control, 0 resilience, max kg, infinite. So it's actually a pretty terrible rod. The only good thing that it has going is the fact that it is instant lure without any type of bait or enchant or anything of that sort, and of course the fact that it has an absolutely ridiculous control. But besides that, no really cool passive ability, nothing whatsoever. Now we officially have one fish caught with this, and yeah, overall probably one of the worst developer rods. Now the next one here, honestly, I didn't even know this existed until just before I started recording this, and that is the Katana Rod. This one is specifically made for one of our fellow admins called Enryu, and again, this is another one of those ones where no one is allowed to use this whatsoever. The only person that this is specifically made for is Enryu, and it's pretty straightforward, man. It's literally just a katana. When you cast out with this, I don't think it has any super special passive ability. Again, I didn't even know this existed until just prior to starting this, but I believe it is just a regular rod with some pretty decent stats. So yeah, it doesn't really have any type of passive. If you look over here, 65% lure speed, 150% luck, 0.15 control, 10% resilience with max kg, being completely infinite. So nothing really too crazy here. The point is that it is an exclusive to one of our admins, and it's definitely really cool looking. Now the next one is probably one of the more famous ones that a lot of you have probably seen already. This is the one that pretty much everyone wants to get their hands on, and it is called the Sovereign Doombringer, and it says obliterate fish with a huge hammer, developer exclusive. So if I'm not mistaken, I believe that this rod was specifically made for number 6. If you were in my stream earlier today, you probably saw him. He helped us out with the entire bug that was sort of going on. This is the rod that he would be exclusively using. And again, it's extremely cool. This is one of those ones that's kind of like really OP that no one should definitely be using. But yeah, basically when you cast out here, you're going to go ahead and do a couple of shakes as per usual. And then as soon as you get it, you're going to see a hammer come out and it's going to slam into the ground and add a little bit of progression. So it sort of more or less works like the Trident, except that it only really works one time and it adds a huge chunk of progression. Now for the next one, we're going to start getting into the ones that you guys have probably not really seen that much. I know that specifically after this one that I'm about to show you, you've definitely never seen the next one. At least I don't think you have. But here is the evil Pitchfork of Doom rod. This one is a really cool one, and one that, if I am not mistaken, used to previously be the no life rod. I could be wrong, but I feel like I'm about 80% sure that this used to previously be the no life rod. Now obviously this is based after the Trident rod, and it's another one of those rods where it's very similar to the executive rod. It isn't really all that crazy. 99% 99% lure speed, 0% luck, 0.4 control, and 30% resilience with infinite max kg. So again, fairly simple, nothing really too crazy, instant catch for the most part, pretty crazy control, and of course the resilience is also kind of insane. Like I mentioned before, right next to kind of the executive rod on the underwhelming side. Now, for the next one, I'm sure you guys have not seen whatsoever. This one actually belongs to Platoli. Again, another very familiar name here on the channel. You guys helped him get 10,000 followers. Description for this says big heavy sword. That's all it says, nothing else. And as for the stats, this one is actually pretty beefy, so I'd imagine that it's going to be really OP. 99% lure speed, 150% luck, 0.35 control, 10% resilience with infinite max kg. This one, I believe, does have a passive ability. So let's go ahead and take a look here. We're going to shake a couple times, and we should see, there it is right there. Giant sword sort of comes down and slams. Really OP sword. Definitely don't plan on ever using this. And again, this is one of those ones that specifically is only made for developers and not intended for anyone else to use. Now, besides all of these rods that I just showed you, there is technically one more that I actually kind of refuse to redeem on my account. The reason for this is because this rod is actually completely broken. It is called the developer's rod, and it's very similar to the executive one. It's just sort of like this rainbow colored rod, and it's basically like a 100% catch every single time. I mean, like literally a 100% catch. There's no way of ever losing a fish with that rod. It's instant lure. Control bar is completely filled up from one end to the other. Absolutely no resilience. I mean, obviously the control bar is massive, so resilience wouldn't even matter. The rod is just insanely OP and not to be in the hands of literally anyone besides only developers. Now, the big controversy with a lot of these rods is the fact that a lot of people think that we should be able to get our hands on them as regular players. But the issue with this, man, is that a lot of these are extremely broken. And it's honestly for a good reason. A lot of these guys spend majority of their time working on updates so that way you guys can go ahead and enjoy them, especially since they're pretty much doing bi-weekly to sometimes even weekly updates. So they really don't get much free time to actually play the game. Even for ones like the Katana Rod that is specifically made for one of our admins, to my knowledge, Enryu actually does a lot of things behind the scenes. So I'm probably going to guess that Enryu probably spends a majority of their time handling moderation stuff when they're actually on the game. Now, sort of just for the memes and to see what maybe the developers say, I want you guys to go into the comment section right now and let me know, out of every single one of these rods, which one would you like to see actually released? I feel like it'd be interesting to see. My guess is that a lot of people are going to say either the Doombringer or the Seraphic, but who knows? Maybe some Final Fantasy fans out there are going to want the Rex a part of their actual lineup for their fishing rods. Either way, man, I know that you guys have been asking for this for a while now. I wanted to go ahead and bring this video to you guys. Even while I'm streaming, I do see those of you that mentioned in the chat, hey, what is that, whenever I open up my inventory. So here's a showcase video that you guys have been asking for. But with that being said, man, I don't know exactly when you guys are going to see this video. We do have hopefully a second teaser coming out very soon for Northern Expedition. So we're kind of just sitting back waiting for that to release. As soon as that does release, I will have it here on the channel, breaking it down and looking over everything, as well as making some predictions. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel for more daily fish content. But that's gonna do it for this video. Like always, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.